Hello, this is Ash Teeter, hosting the Reading Between the Headlines podcast with Lost Coast Populist News, where we look at local and national headlines, digging a little deeper on ones that seem a little bit interesting. LCP News, awake, not woke. News for patriots, by patriots. Disclaimer. The opinions expressed by myself and other members of the LCP News team are not facts, and neither are yours. Hello, Ash Teeter here. We are back for our international section of the show here. So starting off, we have Binance named as a counterparty in a FinCEN order against Bitslato. Bitslato is accused of laundering $700 million by U.S. authorities. So this is kind of similar to the FTX thing here. I mean, how many crypto markets are corrupt, or how many aren't corrupt? Maybe that's the better question. But there's a little video clip we'll play here for a better understanding of things.
On the Binance. Considering what's happening in Ukraine, they're still working with ruble, so obviously they're still working in Russia. I mean, the rest of the civilized world has pulled out.
And are you continuing to have concerns about Binance's relationship with Russia?
They're still working there. They're earning money on Russia. They are helping the good and bad Russians escape the sanctions. And I think it's a big problem because for my country, at least, we are fighting, my people are dying every day. And there is the exchange which works both in Ukraine and Russia. And you can easily, send money from Russia to Ukraine and vice versa. Or you can get the money out of Russia or in Russia. And who knows what the money is doing in Iran or any other country. We saw that reports on, I think it was Reuters, right? How the Binance.
What would you hope Binance would do?
Binance wouldn't do anything. They like to earn money. I understand them from this point of view. But when people are dying, do you really want to earn money on blood? I don't. That's why we pulled out of Russia immediately, same day. So I hope they'll follow the lead and pull out, but this is not acceptable. I mean, why U.S. companies are pulling out, European companies are pulling out. They're suffering, they're losing money, billions and billions of dollars, but not Binance, because they're special. I don't think they're special. I mean, I guess the U.S. government is going to do something about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of interesting because I didn't think it was the FTX, Sam Bankman-Fried or fraud, whichever he was. He was, kind of heavily invested in Ukraine and was, completely backing them. So it's kind of interesting to hear, them talk about Binance being entangled with Russian, but this is coming from someone speaking at the World Economic Forum. So, yeah. Trust them as far as you can throw them. I guess that's what they say about stuff like that. So here we go. This is Al Gore out on the podium again. Yeah, junk scientist Al Gore goes on an unhinged rant on climate change at the World Economic Forum. Claims that oceans are boiling, creating atmospheric rivers, and the rain bombs that, we've been feeling locally here in Humboldt County. But let's go take a listen to Mr. Man-Bear Pig here and see what's going on here.
We're going to bring these emissions down. And just to put the science a slightly different context, people are familiar with that thin blue line that the astronauts bring back in their pictures from space. That's the part of the atmosphere that has oxygen, the troposphere, and it's only 5 to 7 kilometers thick. That's what we're using as an open sewer. If you could drive a car straight up in the air at interstate highway speeds, you'd get to the top of that blue line in 5 minutes. And all the greenhouse gas pollution would be below you. We're still putting 162 million tons into it every single day. And the accumulated amount is now trapping as much extra heat as would be released by 600,000 Hiroshima-class atomic bombs exploding every single day on the Earth. That's what's boiling the oceans, creating these atmospheric rivers and the rain bombs and sucking the moisture out of the land and creating the droughts and melting the ice and raising the sea level and causing these waves of climate refugees predicted to reach 1 billion in this century. Look at the xenophobia and political authoritarian trends that have come from just a few million refugees. What about 1 billion? We would lose our capacity for self-governance on this world. We have to act. So in answer to your question, I would say we have to have a sense of urgency much greater than we have yet had, and we need to make some changes.
Wow. Just wow. That's about all I can say there. I mean, okay, Al. Yeah. I mean, I guess, someplace, I know you're like seismic vents, the ocean might boil, but yeah, they don't account for like all the weather modification. And in the previous episode, we played the clip of the news admitting that they're putting stuff in the atmosphere to modify the weather. So who knows exactly what contribution that has to the recent weather we've been having at the atmospheric rivers here on the West Coast. But anyways, moving on to another World Economic Forum story. The WEF elites who want you to own nothing and be happy fly hundreds of sex workers to Davos. So I wonder if Al Gore is partaking in the sex workers at the WEF Forum. Hundreds of prostitutes have poured into Davos, Switzerland, to satisfy the appetites of the globalist elite, including world leaders and CEOs. Ronald Reagan once remarked, "It has been said that politics is the second oldest profession. I have learned that it bears a striking resemblance to the first. He wasn't wrong." Yeah. Demand for prostitutes skyrockets each year at the meeting of the world leaders and CEOs who fly into the Swiss town on private jets from all around the world to mingle with each other and to plot how to take away our freedoms. And isn't that about the truth? In other WEF news, they declared that the U.S. will soon have hate speech laws to deal with information pollution. And we're already seeing that on the local level. They're not wasting any time on that, huh? The U.S. will soon have illegal hate speech laws to punish anyone spreading or polluting the internet with disinformation, according to the World Economic Forum affiliate of European Union official Vera Jourova. And we've seen what that boils down to on the local level here. It's pretty much that opinions can be disproven with other opinions. You just take all these opinions, you stack them up, and up, and up, and up, and up, and up, and suddenly you got a fact. It's just amazing. Yeah, but it doesn't really work like that, does it? And you can take all these opinions and put them together. They're still just opinions. Yeah, that's why we have the First Amendment here, and hopefully we're able to keep it, because it's getting pretty scary out there, huh? So, moving on here. This is the executive producer leaves the new CNN morning show. This is the executive producer behind CNN's morning news program has just left 2 months after its launch. Eric Hall has left CNN This Morning, hosted by Don Lemon, Poppy Harlow, and Caitlin Collins, in exchange for the CNN Tonight with Laura Coates, according to an inside source that leaked the news to The Wrap. Yeah, well, this I don't know, might just be another instance of the media just slowly crumbling away, just kind of fading out there. That's what I hope it is, anyways. But anyways, what else we got? Yeah, Netflix co-founder Reed Hastings steps down as CEO of the streaming company. Hastings will be succeeded by co-CEOs Greg Peters and Ted Sardanos, and will continue in the company as executive chairman. Well, I mean, that's a start. I've heard that Netflix has taken pretty big losses. I know we just got bored with it and we dropped our service around my house. But okay, go on here. Okay, so Jacinda Ardern resigns as Prime Minister of New Zealand. And if you remember, like, they were pretty stringent with their lockdowns. I mean, we thought things were bad here, but New Zealand got pretty out of hand. It was, and maybe it's just because they're so close to Australia, and we all saw how bad Australia got with, like, internment camps and I remember seeing some of the stuff they were doing to the natives there, and it's just horrible. And you get, just terrible stuff. But anyways, New Zealand's Prime Minister Jacinda Ardern said she is resigning in an unexpected announcement that came as she confirmed a national election for October. And it seems like her party doesn't really have anyone else to run, or with enough popularity to run anyways. But moving on here, we've got it's a tragic. A 2-year-old died suddenly, like a day after receiving both of the COVID and the annual flu jabs, and that's just terrible. And they just give kids too many shots at once, and they should not be getting the COVID jabs at all. They just have no, and you look at the data, and there was like practically zero kids without like serious comorbidities that died strictly of COVID. And this ties into another story here. FDA chief calls for an immediate end of the COVID vaccines. Millions are dropping dead, he claims. This is senior FDA officials called for the immediate halt of COVID-19 vaccinations in America due to the alarming number of people suffering severe adverse reactions for the mRNA jabs. Dr. Paul Offit, a member of the U.S. FDA's Vaccine Advisory Committee, has written in the New England Journal of Medicine calling for an end to mass vaccination, particularly those with low risk from the virus, which makes complete sense because one thing that's been disregarded this whole time is natural immunity, and they pretend like it doesn't exist. So that's good that it's starting to drift that way. And also related on the COVID trend, this is from Steve Kirsch. He's writes a good Substack, and you can find him on Twitter as well. He says, I just learned that the FAA is censoring my article internally so they don't upset anyone who works there. That's just the way science works, I guess. Yeah, the FAA has very quietly and tacitly admitted that the EKGs of pilots are no longer what they were. After the vaccine rolled out, the FAA secretly widened the EKG parameter range for pilots so they wouldn't be grounded. It looks like the vax gave them at least 50 million more or something. Gave at least 50 million Americans heart damage. Oh, that's just horrible. But then you look at this, and the World Economic Forum, they're hiring unvaccinated pilots to fly them into Davos. Safety of our members is the number one priority. So you just kind of contrast what's going on for, average plebs, the mouth breather, the salt of the earth citizens, and the deplorables, as Hillary so quaintly put it. All they do is they widen the parameters, just kind of change the numbers so that vaccinated pilots can fly and crash and do whatever with us normal folks. But then for themselves, like, oh, we're not gonna get vaccinated pilots. Nope, not for us. So, and if you think that's the case, do you think these people really got vaccinated themselves. And this guy right here, do you think he really got the shot himself? I mean, the head of Pfizer, he said that he didn't. But moving on here, it's from the Expose. NHS doctor confirms health and social care staff were instructed to let patients die or euthanize them to falsely increase the COVID death count while hospitals were empty. And yeah, this is what a lot of us, suspected and saw, a lot of evidence that just wasn't allowed into the mainstream. I mean, yeah, it's just tragic. But yeah, this NHS whistleblower who wishes to remain anonymous has come forward with allegations that the NHS hospitals were not overwhelmed during the COVID-19 pandemic, as was reported by authorities in the mainstream media. And I remember seeing, multiple videos where, people in random towns would, just go into the hospitals and they were just, empty. And then we'd get those, I don't know if you remember the dancing videos of all the, the staff and nurses and stuff just putting out, and why would they be putting out videos of them making dances in this time of a so-called emergency, whereas all, hospitals are packed. But I think I remember hearing that one way that they achieved this was just reducing staff and closing down wings. Like, oh yeah, yep, it's just horrible. We're full because we only got 25% of our staff, and we're 75% closed down. But yeah, we're full to that capacity. But anyways, we're gonna watch a little video about the rapper Ice Cube and he decided not to get the jab, and he turned down some money. But before we do that, we're going to talk a little bit about the possibility if you might be interested in writing some stuff for Lost Coast Populist. It's something that could really help out in the movement that we're trying to achieve here. So just read this here. Join the team. Lost Coast Populist is looking for brave authors willing to dedicate time to discovering and writing the truth. And yeah, that pretty much sums it all right there. So come, if that's the case, then come to is it Loco? Yep, then you go to our authors. And then it's right here. You just come join the team. Then apply today. And there you go. Yep, and just send an email to lostcoastpopulist.com@gmail, and that's how the application works there. But move on to this Ice Cube video here. Unvaxxed and glad. It's him on the Jimmy Dore show.
Site security is a never-ending commitment. Who's looking out for yours? I'm talking about enterprise-grade security built.
So Ice Cube reportedly turned down a $9 million contract because he wouldn't take the vaccine. Here he is.
I turned down a movie because I didn't want to get the jab. I turned down $9 million. Damn. Because I didn't want to get the jab.
You didn't want to get,
that jab. And y'all for trying to make me get it.
Oh, because you wouldn't get the COVID shot.
Yeah, the COVID shot.
Oh,
the jab. The jab. Yeah.
During the pandemic.
He wouldn't let him poke.
During the pandemic, man. The pandemic.
At all.
You didn't me either.
Nothing. Come.
I didn't catch it at all.
Yeah, I didn't need.
So there you go. And oppose that too. I just juxtapose that with her. I've just lost a few people in my weekly routine who have refused or did not disclose whether or not they had been vaccinated. And it was unfortunate. I feel it's your moral and professional obligation to inform, since we're not all potted up and being tested every single day.
Oh, I bet that was a real loss for them.
Yeah. So she had the opposite view. I thought that was interesting.
Her weekly routine.
I don't know. I mean, E.T., is it extraterrestrial? Is she an alien? Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Like who? Her barista, and
Right? Who is she not talking to?
gardener.
So she said she's cut people out of her life. I hope it's not Chandler or Ross.
You think it's Chandler?
I think it's Chandler. He's such a rebel.
What about Joey?
Joey's the kind of guy who gets he'll get the vax and tell you.
I don't understand why people can't just get fake cards. It's not that hard. Especially Ice Cube. Ice Cube, you couldn't have whipped up something for $9 million.
For $9 million, right? Yes, I definitely would have.
$500,000 on a really good fake card.
Yeah, give a counterfeiter $1 million.
I'm shocked at his consistency of F the man over the years, and I'm also blown away that he didn't think to just get a fake card.
So I'm jealous of him now. How about that? Because my neck still hurts, and who knows?
I think he probably did it out of principle. You know, if you're gonna like stand up for something like that, it's better just to say no. I mean, hey, I think maybe he just has enough money where he's like $9 million. You know, it's not gonna make me or break me really. Already made it, and guys done pretty well. But anyways, that's all for this episode here, and we will see you folks next time. So have a good rest of your evening, week, or day, whatever it is you watch this. Anyways, later on.